My name's Tom Heinz, and I got interested in architecture in 6th grade in grammar school. I happened to see a book written by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was a little paperback called The Future of Architecture. So when I was in school, I was very interested in the psychology of things because I knew that this could have an effect on the occupants. And in looking at Frank Lloyd Wright's buildings, I saw some things that I hadn't seen in other people's works, and I found by visiting buildings, not just Frank Lloyd Wright's, but everybody's buildings, and trying to understand what they were trying to do and find out what their success points or principles were, that you can extract ideas and principles from them. And so this is what I saw in Frank Lloyd Wright's work, is I saw how he used light. So Frank Lloyd Wright seemed to understand things that we're dealing with today. For instance, one of his most famous works, the Roby House. It's a thin building compared to most buildings. It's one room wide, and it's a long room, and it faces south. The broad face faces south. In the summertime, the overhang on the south side does not allow sun to enter the room, to heat the room up because of solar radiation. In the winter, the sun is much lower. In Chicago's pretty far north, and the sun goes all the way across the room to the opposite wall, and that helps warm up the room in the wintertime through this. It's only single pane glass, and it's stained glass, so there was a lot of cold coming in because of these materials, and he understood that. He did what he called a solar hemicycle in the early 1940s in Madison, Wisconsin. It's a curved building bermed up from the back with only a small awning window at the top. When those windows are open and the wind comes from the north, it comes up and right through the house, two-story glass doors on the other side. And it is in a curve so that all day the sun comes into this building, heats up the dark concrete slab. In the 1940s, people are just starting to grasp these ideas now. In the Macero house, because it wasn't my design, I didn't have it all in my head, I had to get it into my head. And we had a very complex site. It was on an island. We had shores that came up. We also had the whale rock, 12 by 12 by 60 feet long, which comprised even some of the structure of the building. And so this had to perfectly coordinate because we were matching Frank Lloyd Wright's drawings. So in one view, where the roof came over and hit the whale rock, it hit at a certain point. So we had to maintain that proportion. Very tough. And underneath the house, there was a cantilever that came out, and the earth dropped off. And so I needed to know what's going on underneath that so we know how to hold up that end of this 78-foot piece of concrete. And first we modeled the land with the whale rock in it. Then I modeled the building. Then I had to put the two together. Well, you know, we had to get it together this way, we had to get it together this way, we had to get it together this way, and, you know, to fit this right in, I did a lot of checking. But coordinating that was really something. And the one thing that I've really got from doing this was, as I'm developing the three-dimensionality of it and doing these views and fly-throughs and things, I thought, could I come up with this design? Boy, I don't know. I'm not so sure I could. So the ArchiCAD allows me to have confidence in what my drawings are. The graduates that I've seen, and I speak from time to time at different universities, are extremely interested in the 3D, or what we call BIM these days. And when they see these computer-rendered, computer-generated images, this is what they want to be able to produce, and they think they can produce them. And depending on the program they use, certainly the ArchiCAD can do a beautiful job at that. There are these golden rules, the golden rectangle and things like that, that will teach the beginnings of it. You seem to need to have a certain innate sense of it and a finer tuned sense to be able to do it. And I do think that if professors would use something like ArchiCAD to teach proportions, that would really work, because now you can finally teach it in 3 dimensions, not in just 2 dimensions. And I think that there could be great courses, and ArchiCAD even could, you know, get sort of a seed kit started for things like that.